Hey folks, we're going to do some artwork this morning, so give me a second here to check in. I need to do some check-ins. So I need to make sure that the sound is good, and then I need to do the social media posts. It takes about a minute, so you can skip past this. Yeah, so if you want to skip past this, I'll get back into the artwork in about a minute. It just takes, we don't get the link to the video going live until the video goes live. So that's why you always see stay tuned at the beginning of videos. It's because we're all scrambling around trying to get the links up and running so that we can, say, hey, we're live. But I've completed that task, so I'm going to drop away my windows here. Let's rearrange our layers so you can see everything that I've got going on. Bump. Cool. Okay, so we're doing landscape. We're doing Bob Ross style landscapes right now, and we've built this out. We've played with some ideas. We wanted to add in another mountain back here, so we're going to be working on that mountain ridge tonight. We'll be working for about an hour. I stream Monday through Fridays in the morning like this, and then I do game design for role-playing games like D&D on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. The artwork that I create is for the books that I publish. So if you want to see a bunch of stuff that I've done for free, you can click on any of these books down here on DMsGuild.com and click preview for all these books, and you can then look through the book and see all the artwork that I created for them. And if you're a D&D fan, maybe there's something of value for you there as well. Like, subscribe, bell icon, notification. We're live in the future, and let's go. So let's see. Here is the. Let's get that out of the way. Here is the photo that we are referencing. And we took obviously a lot of creative freedom with the composition overall, but I like the vibe of this. So I wanted to, obviously this flattens out here, and we kind of played along with that general shape and form, but now I want to add on a peak of our own. So that is where we're going to spend our time today. So let's scroll down here. This is the mountain, and this is the new peak that we're adding in. I'm going to make a, let's go left horn. That's what we'll call that. And we're going to grab this color that we've already picked out, switch to a round brush, 100%. And we'll drop this in. I actually want to put this, I think I'm going to put this behind the mountain. What if I go in front of the mountain? Nah, that still looks good. We'll go in front. So now I'm going to grab, I just want to smudge it up a little bit just to blend it a little bit more. So I'm going to grab just a generic smudge brush that we use. I'm just going to work this into the canvas. We'll be able to, by having this in the foreground in front of the mountain, I can blend this hook into where this ridge is going. I can extend this ridge down and then curve through this little valley that we have going on here. I think that'll be a lot of fun. We have all these striations in these cliffs, so like little pathways. So we'll be able to play with that space a little bit over here as well. I'm just gonna push and blend this in. I can extend this ridge to come around here like that and then drop away here. So this creates like this little negative space. You can see kind of receding inward here. I like that. That's really cool. So that adds some extra depth and dimensionality to these structures. That will be fun. Let's clean up this edge here. Just drop that away. I'm gonna grab my chisel brush so I can straighten out that edge a little. Let's grab our razor. there's these little bumps that get created as a result of using the cloud brush. It's not the best tool. I should probably use the guitar pick. But right now, this I call it Mountain Razor because to me it looks like a razor blade. See, but it's got this good edge here, and then it's got the mottled on the other side to break up texture. It's called the Mountain Razor because it looks like a razor, but I use it to craft and sculpt mountains. There we go. That feels good. I don't like that tip. I need to... I actually need to wear that down a little bit. No, I don't. I don't want to thin that down. There, let's char that up. Yeah, that feels pretty good. We'll leave it like that. Okay, cool. So that's set. And next, let's start grabbing some texture. And we're going to use our mountain chisel. That's what that looks like. And we're going to use that to build everything out. This is how it begins. Let's put some interesting curves into it. Fill that in a little bit better. This looks super cool. I really, really like this. Like that should work. Yeah. Now we'll clean up the frame underneath here to create those drops. Like literal steps. Okay, cool. That looks good. So we'll go back to our steps. Now there's a whole ridge here that we're working. That's perfect. I like that. Okay, so let's see. Next thing we want to do is, since this is all basically in shadow, we're limiting our palette to the more muted tones. So let's grab some of this, and underneath our ridge, we'll add in these layers. So let's. We're going to use the same type of brush as our eraser as we do for the paint. So as we erase it, it has a recurring pattern. But we're going to use a series. We don't have the same. So the way that Bob Ross does mountains is he lightly drapes a knife with a knife's edge loaded up with paint. And the differences in depth of the canvas, the weave of the canvas, and other factor like the amount of paint that happens to be on the particular millimeter of the knife, for instance. These create variances, so different amounts of paint get left on the canvas as he trails along the edge, or as he just whispers across the surface with the brush. We don't have that same depth of tactile input with these digital tools. So for us to be able to simulate that inconsistent distribution of paint, we use a brush and then we use an eraser that uses the same shape. So you can see here, as I add and erase pigment from the canvas, it starts to create this crumbly texture, and that's what we're looking for. It takes, obviously it's taking a lot longer than, Bob would have already been done and moved on to the next thing. But we have to go through more hoops with our digital tools than our live media brethren get to enjoy. But these tools work. They do the job. You can get these tools on my Patreon. If you want to go down in the description and click my Patreon link, it'll take you to my page where you can grab these brushes that I'm using today and experiment for yourself. It's an ABR file, which is Acrobat brushes, or Adobe brushes, and they basically work on everything like Clip Art Studio and whatever. So now we have the shape, which is just a silhouette, and now we're defining the form, the volume of that shape in three-dimensional space by how we're bending the texture around the mount and the lighting. So we'll use a darker lighting along this edge, even though this one's going to be muted as it is already. I'm going to, since we have these steps, I'm going to lean into the angle of the steps to help add volume to these tiered layers. There we go, just erase that a little bit. Keep curving this down into here. Melt all that away. And now I think we can go in with a darker. Too dark. Maybe something like that will work. Still too dark. How about this? That's dark. That's too dark. God damn it, dude. Come on, Kearney. Find something. There we go. Thank you. There we go. That feels pretty good. Let's drop it underneath the highlight though. Nice. There we go. Now we're starting to get some interesting shapes going on inside here. I really like this. There we go. Yeah, I'm just saying there you go, and that looks good a lot. Sorry. We were on stream last night working on the Dungeons and Dragons character Artificer class, and that was super fun. If you're a D&D enthusiast, I humbly recommend you check it out. We'll be building mana mechanic books throughout the year, and we'll be illustrating them as we go. So the current plan is to do a few pages, like the Artificer class, build that out, and then off screen, fill in all the specific details, like make it all technical and get all the language cleaned up. And then once I do that cleanup, go online and paint the pages for the Artificer. And while I'm painting the Artificer pages, go back and work on the Barbarian, and then start doing the page layouts for the Barbarian. And by the time I'm done with the Artificer art, I will be ready to do the Barbarian art, and then I can load up the Cleric and start working on the Cleric class, and just go through the classes that way to get them set up and knocked down as we kick through the book. We'll see if that works. It sounds like it could potentially be fun. It also sounds like a process I could duplicate on Patreon really easily by taking subclasses, building those mechanics, and then doing the artwork for the classes that we're the subclasses that we're building, and then publish it on Patreon. Not bad. I think I can afford. Let's see. Let's see about adding in some light. Let's just see how it feels. Oh, I kind of like that. Let's do that. I'm focusing on filling in the darkest gaps on this side. So the previous highlight colors that we have here becomes the shadow, and these dark gaps become recesses. And it fills it in, and it thickens it so it's not so pocked. I'm going to actually use a lower percentage eraser here for a few moments to get some variance in angles, and because it's a form, it's going to hit light at different angles depending on how it's curved. So by using a low opacity eraser, I can sculpt in these little curves. By tapping at the same location more, it becomes further receded. So again, this is so much more effort and intent than Bob Ross using just a quick traipse across the surface and he's done. It's a super elegant technique that you can do in meat space because of the 10,000 hairs that's on a brush. I mean, he uses a palette knife for this one, so the variance in the texture of the actual canvas material he's painting on. I wonder if Corel Paint would be able to actually duplicate that effect more, because I remember like gouache and like modeling clay could be added to a canvas to actually create mass, and you can determine what angle the light source in the room is to the canvas on the page, and it would modify how the pigments would work as it hit these different angles. So it was actually pretty complicated, and that's back in like 2000. I can only imagine that Corel Paint's gotten really, really advanced with texturing, like textured canvases and stuff that could actually potentially utilize these Bob Ross techniques much more effectively than what Photoshop could. Maybe I'll explore that at some point, see if it's true. There, that's feeling really, really good. And erase that a little bit to indicate the curvature around the structure. And we're going to trim away at some of this excess here. Just to help minimize the look of being outlined. There we go. Straighten all that out. So far, so good. So what? Let's get back to this. I'm going to add in some more shape in here to help build this out a little bit more. Using a lighter eraser to poke at this to help create curvature. Yeah, I don't like how this is falling away. Let's add a little bit more. There, that feels good. %, erase. There we go. Too similar? Nah, I think I like it. I think I just like it. Hey, what happens if I scoot it around a little bit? Like drop it down. Ooh. That feels pretty good. I like that. We'll keep that. Let's carve away here. a little bit to create some depth inside here. I'm going to grab this darker color and tap that in. Actually, let's go for the depth. There we go. Bam, just like that. I'm fucking shit up. Let's instead add another layer so I can poke at this stuff without damaging it. Oh yeah, that looks super cool. We'll go here. I'm actually going to pull on these a little bit with my razor to help blend it down a little. There we go. Yeah, this is looking pretty good. Let's see. Drop down here. I want to get at this edge a little bit to clean that up. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Weird little hump we got going on here. What are you all on about? Yeah, okay, we can extend that. There. That feels pretty good. Okay, let's continue with this. I'm going to add on another. I'm going to put this as peak. We're just going to work our way down in like I was saying, in striations. So I think right now what I want to do is extend. I'll play with this space a little bit more, and just extend this down, and we'll worry about the striations later. But right now I really just want to work this and push it down to build out this shape a little bit better. I like where this is going, but let's go with a 30% eraser. We'll see some stuff just manifest on its own. Just pulling this stuff down and then erasing at it. Hello, viewers. Thank you for checking out my channel. I really appreciate it. I love doing Bob Ross paintings. We're using Photoshop. This is where we're at so far. This is a great piece. I'm thinking about putting a dragon in the mid space, like around in this area here. But right now we're just adding another mountain peak back here, just to help flesh out the silhouette, the horizon line a little bit more. But I'm really happy with this piece, how it turned out. It looks pretty good. So we're going to keep working on this. These tools that I'm using, the brush kit, all these tools that we use to make these Bob Ross environments. There's only about 16 brushes that we use, and they're all on my Patreon, which is linked down below. If you're a digital art enthusiast, this is these tools. The way that I'm using these tools, I'm demonstrating how I'm using the tools that I have on my Patreon. So be welcome to go and grab those. I think what'll happen is once I finish this painting, I think I'm going to post it on my Patreon as something that people that are monthly subscribers will get for free, and it'll include the brush set and this high-res JPEG as well as the PSD file that I'm using to for you to go in and peel it apart if you want. And here's again, we're going from the top and we're fading in as we drop in elevation, and we're doing the same for the for this texturing that we're doing. I want to drop that eraser down to about maybe 10%. Super light, so I can chomp at something for a little bit and still have things remaining. So I stream. I do artwork like this Monday through Fridays in the morning. And then the art that we do are for books that I publish. So we design the books that I publish on Mondays and Thursday nights, including last night. And it's always, right now I've been playing inside the Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game space, creating content and alternate options for that game system. And then we format them into acceptable mechanical language, and then we publish it. After we get the language figured out, we do the art here on stream, and once the art is done, we publish the thing. I'm just about done with all the asset packaging for an Eberron adventure that we've been basically creating here for the past 4 years on this channel. And it's finally finishing. So the next batch of projects I don't plan on taking nearly as long. They'll take longer than I want or longer than I guess, but it won't take 4 years to finish that process, because adventures are way more involved than just rule books. Rule books are pretty much just alphabetical lists of ideas, while adventures have to coordinate like the maps and the illustrations and the descriptive text, and have them all located in the same space, so they're all relevant to what the DM is looking at while trying to run the adventure, to make it efficient for them to understand what's going on. That takes a lot of page planning and messing around with formatting and image sizes. It all deeply is coordinated. So it took forever for me to figure out how to do that, because I never built a book that way. I've always just done alternate rule mechanics that are just alphabetical listings of ideas. Super easy to do, barely an inconvenience. Yeah, we're going to use this. I'm going to drop this down like that. So I'm going to merge that with this. And I think I'm going to bind the peak layer together. I'm just going to merge that down. I'm going to take that and I'm going to drop its lighting, because the rock formations that we're looking at over here are significantly larger. The size of texture that I'm using is misaligned. Yeah, for example, I'm looking at this brush here. That's about the size of the brush that we're looking at right here. And that is 90 pixels, which is huge compared to what we've been doing. See the difference in size? That's the size I'm supposed to be operating at this depth. And I have not been doing that. So I have to rebuild this thing much more simply. So we'll take our humble pie and we'll carry on. This is already looking really good. I'm really happy that we picked up on that when we did, because this feels really, really good. Pulling that with the razor a little bit. We'll get rid of that top bit there. I'm going to hewn across here and then build out like that. And we're going to erase into it. Ah, it feels so good. Use a slightly smaller brush. There we go. And now I'm going to add another layer so I can create some new depth. Looks like we found a ridgeline. Timely timer, keeping time. I've got a 20-minute timer that helps me make sure I don't get lost inside of any particular piece or that my conversation is getting dull. So this timer pops off every 20 minutes just for me to have a chance. Am I talking about stuff? Am I still whinging on details, or have I moved on to another portion of the piece? It helps keep things vibrant and flowing. So I think I'm escaping in my head a lot with this piece. I'm still trying to figure out what my life is doing. It's this change of this ending this Eberron adventure and completing that. It should publish like by Tuesday. It'll publish next week. I am on the last bits of. I'm finishing up the last assets like map and tokens and stuff. I'm finishing up the last of those assets. I'll have those done tonight. Then I'm going to resize them all to 70 pixels so that they naturally work in Roll20 or other VTTs with just snap to grid. Super easy to load in. And then I just need to do the product page. Right, like the quick little, like the sales pitch write-up for the adventure, and then actually upload the adventure PDF along with the assets zip file, and it'll be done. So I suspect Tuesday. I think it's going to be Tuesday. That maybe on Monday. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly. But soon, very, very soon. And then I'll be done with Eberron Adventure in my evenings, and I can start like updating the color mana spell list, and republishing that, updating spell casting, using the circle magic system for amplified spell casting and Spelljammer. That's going to be super useful. And they're much better mechanics, and I was getting razzed that the mechanics that I have for amplifying spells in Spelljammer are broken because they increase area of effect, and that can be abused by people operating in bad faith to just basically carpet bomb cities with low cost massive fireballs. And that made me realize that I was operating too much on gentlemen's agreements, that not everyone is going to infer while reading the rules. So that made me do a really hard self-check and realize that my detractors were actually correct, that I needed to use better mechanics that were less abusable for amplified spellcasting in Spelljammer. and the circle magic mechanics that came out in the Magic of Faerun, or the Adventurer's Guide to Faerun, are actually perfect for amplified spells. They're exactly what I want to do. They're very simple, they're elegant, and I can directly translate them. So I'm really, really excited about that. We'll be getting into that probably in about a week or two. I'll be focusing my off-screen attention on revising those mechanics, and then potentially need to create more art to fill any gaps that appear in the pages as I redefine that section of the book. Basically rewriting the spellcasting chapter for Spelljammer using the new 5.5 Faerun rules, which is just fucking fantastic. I am thrilled to have that option. And it's humbling to realize that, you know, you were overambitious, or you made a mistake, or that you were operating on assumptions. It's very humbling. But being able to acknowledge that it's an error and that you have a means to resolve it, that's fantastic. That's just growth. And at the end of it, you have a stronger product that I'm going to be super strong on being able to support everything about it. Like, everything that's in that book is supported by 5e mechanics in one manner or another. Where is that at? Is that the hills? Highlands, hills. Far forest. I feel like there should be more forest over here. I'm going to add in more forest when this is done. Let's be bold, and let's actually push this forward. It feels like a decent space to be in. Yeah, let's stay on this left horn until we're, boy, it's looking really cool. Yeah, that hill's getting in the way. All right, we're gonna have to come back to that. Let's go to a darker color. Let's do like this, and we'll add in there we go. Add in a bit like that. That feels really good. Add these in here. We're going to erase those a little bit to break up the texture. Oh, God, that looks so cool. I love that. That feels really, really good. Let's, we need to have, I put this on a lower layer so that we could work top down. We'll go like that. Curve around a little bit. Pulling those a little bit here. Let's erase more here so we can create that depth of the separation of the ridge. There. This is just kind of a palette cleanser. We're doing this between projects just to clear it up. I'm noticing though that since this illustration isn't actually directly attached to any content that I'm publishing, I'm finding it more difficult to just talk about whatever it is that's going on here, because it's not actually attached to any project that I have opinions or thoughts about beyond what's actually being put here on the pixels. Like normally when we're doing artwork, it's because it's going to be a page illustration to one of the books that we're publishing. So we get to talk about all the text, you know, that's on the page. There, like normally, like this would be a page of text, and a little spot would be where the illustration is at. But this is just a standalone illustration, so it doesn't have that same benefit. So I'm noticing the difference in conversation. I've spent years talking about illustrations that are going to be in books. When I suddenly have an illustration that's not going to be in the book, I'm like, what am I talking about here? I'm not talking about anything. Oh, that feels really good. There we go. Hell yeah, that feels cool. That's a badass little mount. Oh man, I love that thing. So this is really, really coming along nicely. It's almost at a point where I don't feel like I need to fill anything in this space now. We were originally talking about putting a dragon in here when we were messing around with that last session, but I really just like this space. I don't know if I really even want a dragon anymore. Let's keep stacking stuff. Oh wait, we're almost done with stack. Oh my god, that looks so good back there. This looks so fucking good. Let's add a little bit to this. Let's push. It's behind the highlands again. Oh yeah, that made sense. Yeah, and we can still layer on top of the hills to flesh out this bit in here. Yeah, this is all working out really nicely. I'm very pleased. Let's keep doing what we're doing. I'm gonna, yeah, let's add a little bit more in here. Nice. Okay, let's add another layer. I'm apparently locked up, so I'm going to hit save and wait for the computer to resolve itself. I'm almost at a point where I can merge this all down and clean up these edges. We're getting close. Yeah, let's do inside of here. And then let's create some shadow in here. Fill this in, and that seems to be blending into this pretty nicely. Yeah, very close. So that's working. What is going on with this shit up in here? Is this mountain shenanigan? Where's that coming from? Not the far forest. Is it the hills? It's the hills. The hills are goofy. Okay, good. We can resolve that. Actually, I think we're at the point where we need to resolve that. Let's add a new layer and just start layering over the hills. That's a sharp color. Let's see if this works. We're just gonna literally just paint over them. Yeah. Let's do it like this. We'll go down here. And we'll race inside here a little bit. There we go. Just add that in there. This is starting to feel pretty good. Let's take this and drop it down into here. I'm gonna race at this, chisel this down, wear down its edge. There we go. Nice. Is it that? Dot it in, wear it down, smudge it out. Erase at that to smooth it down. Pull a little bit. There we go. Da-da-da. And blend that down. I like how this is going. Let's take that, blend that in. Fun. Let's let's resolve back through here. That's a block that needs something done to it now. I think we can do that. Yeah, we'll start here and we'll smudge that in. Oh, this is gonna look really fucking good. Race at that, pull on this a little bit. This doesn't have to be super detailed. It's a good spot though. It's an interesting point, so I want to add in enough detail to make it look solid. But I don't need to overdo it. That's really interesting. I like that. Let's build inside here. Take this, we'll just dot it down through here. Fade that in. Get that smokiness going on in here. Make it look all fog-filled and mysterious. File off that burr. We'll keep dropping down. I'm just gonna let that blend out. Using a lot of smudge, so I'm adding some paint and then I'm pulling on this a lot to smooth out the rough texture, but to still have it inferred. This is effectively shallowing out all these burrs and stuff that you see. It's thinning them down here in the lowlands. And this is appropriate. This is worn down. That's why it recedes out into a hill. There we go. And then we can just blend this in so it becomes more like hazy smoke or fog, not smoke. That feels really good. How are we doing on time? Where are we at? 7:23? Oh, we're doing great. Really liking where that's at. So let's, yeah, that feels really, really good. This makes me, I want to add better highlights along, along the form, like around in here. So I'm going to have to go over it again. Another layer, hold on tight. We'll go to the left mount. Jeez, Mahoy. There we go. Work that in. There we go. Where are we at inside here? Where do we need to be? Let's grab some of that. Need to get this under control inside here. That feels good. Oh, hell yeah. Where's my tools? Good. Let's dot across in here. There we go. Good. This is really good. Sorry, I'm not talking about stuff like I usually do. I'm really, really disturbed about my lack of conversation points, since this isn't related to any specific D&D product. I've been working on this Eberron adventure for years, and almost all of my conversation revolves around that adventure or ideas in that adventure, or like DMing style and stuff like that, DMing tips. And I've been doing that for years because, again, the artwork that I'm doing is always related to a page of content for D&D that then becomes a conversation point while I'm working on it. I just don't have that with this piece. This is really messing with me. Let's add another layer. Okay, we need to step back and get perspective real quick. Oh man, I really like that ridge over there. Hold on. Wow, that feels really, really good. Neat. Now let's back it up with some shadow in here. Let's drop that in here like a separate layer. That's super cool. There we go. That's a cool effect. Okay, that is where we're at now. Nope. Let's merge this down and add a new layer. I think we found our light point here. I'm spending a lot of time on this. It's really grabbing my attention today. I'm really enjoying it. I really just enjoy the process of doing paintings like this. They're so fun. Let's do that. Pull on this a little bit. Bring that in. Merge it down. Oh, that looks so cool. What a cool little piece of texture. let's keep the highlight here. We're really playing with the lighting over here, where the how this ridge is interacting with this one over here. There we go. I don't know, man. It's feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good. I can afford to erase it this a little bit, create some depth in here. Bring this out. Trim that down. Through here. Nice. Okay, so far so good. Let's take this down like a notch. There, something like that. Doing that right? Is this sitting here? Not so bad. Let's yeah. Let's go here. There we go. Smudge that in. Hey, Steve, it's good to see you. How are you? Thanks for showing up and swinging by. Appreciate it. This is that little horn that we were playing with over here. So I'm playing with the lighting on it right now to have it kind of like tucked a bit into the shadow of this larger structure. But it's slowly starting to rise, like pull forward and emerge from the shadow of this mountain. Just seeing how the lighting is evolving on it as we play with it. Yeah, it is. This is feeling like a strong enough composition that I don't need to drop something here in the foreground. I like the idea. I don't like the idea of adding 2 weeks on to making a dragon in this painting. I like the idea of it occupying space here, but it's scope sprawl. It's more than I wanted it to be. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish this off with this new mountain range. Once we get this built in, I think I'm going to call it like the landscape aspect of it. I'm just going to call it done. And then we'll move on to something else. So I think yeah, this weekend I'll have the Eberron adventure actually like finished. And it should be publishing probably like on Tuesday, maybe Monday or Tuesday, probably Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, because that'll give me Monday to mess around with it a little bit more. But I intend for the Eberron Adventure to publish on Monday, and I'd like to call this piece done at the end of today's session. And so on Monday we can have a clean break and completely start something like totally new. And I'm thinking about starting in on doing artwork for the subclasses, or maybe do like a book cover for the Artificer, because I want to do a separate book for the Artificer specifically, Spellpoint Artificers. So I'm thinking maybe I should just start working on the cover for that as the first new piece that I add on to the Color Mana series, specifically for the Artificer. So that makes a lot of sense to me. That's a fun little piece, and it's not going to be in the revised core mechanics, so I can start working on the revised formatting with a small piece like the Spellpoint Artificer, and be able to turn that around in maybe a couple weeks and get that published as the first entry to the new 2025 mechanic system that we've been building. That's the thought. That's where I think I'm gonna head. So my intention is to do is to start on a book cover on Monday, to have this finished, to be done with it, and then move on to a book cover. And I think we can pull that off. Let's go back up here again and start adding some of this back in. We're going to smudge that down, and then we're going to erase and pull on it. And then I'll package this for Patreon next week, and hopefully by this time next week I'll have this up on Patreon, and you know, it's a thing. Come back here. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. It's not exactly where I need it to be at. I need to add some more highlights over here, but I'm really happy with where it's coming along. Hey, what's up? Maybe. Not real. Honestly, I hadn't been thinking about it. You're right, because I was talking about. Thank you. I was talking about putting some sort of a temple or some sort of structure up in this nook over here. And I still like that idea. Shit, I guess that's going to extend this to Monday. I actually kind of do like that idea. Thanks for reminding me, Steve. Let's do that. All right, then that seals it. We'll stick around for the temples, boys. Let's yeah, I'm just trying to get the lighting here to all coincide and match up before moving on. Okay, then, so as discussed, change of plans. Monday, we'll continue with this piece and start building the temple structure in here, and maybe some parapets and stuff along the way. Maybe make a mountain fortress out of the thing, or a hint at it. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I like that idea better than the dragon, but maybe the dragon will find its way back into the piece. That dragon is going to be way too much of a commitment. Way more than I wanted to do with this piece. Oh, God, I love how that works. what's up? Hey, cool. Right on. Glad you're enjoying it, man. There we go. And, do I, let's take these things and merge them together. And okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to merge all of the left horn down. So this is before, and then here we have these layering in like that. I'm going to move that. I'm going to come back here. I don't like how this is pushing forward here, so I want to erase this bit through here. And then when we come back into here, ooh, yeah, I kind of like that. Let's do that. What time is it? 7:43. I got about 10 minutes I can spend here. Let's spend it. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's put a line here. Pull on it. And then fill it in a little bit. And pull on that. And fill that in a little bit and pull on that. And then we can, whoops, too much. Then we can go down to 10% eraser and trim on that a little bit. There we go. Pull on this. Erase that a little bit. Add in some texture. Smudge. Pull on a little bit. Erase to blend it in. There we go. We'll take this mid-tone here. Smudge over that. How are we looking over here? Not quite catching the light the way that I want it to. I think I need a more of a highlight along the front ridge. So let's add some. Yeah. Let's see if we can make this work. Then here. Yeah. This is the right path. Through here. Then through here. I like this being a little bit more shaded. That's feeling really good. Oh, that's fun. Let's build that out a little bit. Here. I'm not really planning anything. I'm just looking at the topography and like what would be cool to put here. I'm just kind of letting the brush go wherever it wants to create whatever it needs. And just going with it, you know? Almost there. I'm going to flip this over. Start working it in this direction. Like that. There, just blend that stuff in. How's that feeling? Yeah, that's starting to feel better. I think I need a little more in here. Now we're starting to get to where we need to be. This needs more in here. Maybe I was overdoing it. Let's drop the opacity on this just a smidge. Maybe that'll help. Not quite where I want it to be. Contemplating. I'm locking up. I'm gonna have to hit save here before I lose something. Okay, so I like this bit in here. So let's push that out a little bit more. Just to dull that down a bit. Really blend that in. I like that. You know what? Honestly, I feel like I want to use a darker color here. There. Really just blending that in, that little haze in there. I think this transition from this mass to this mass is important, and I froze up again. The rubber really meets the road like right in this space here. So that's where I'm really having to pay attention to like how am I building things to make that transition from this mass to this smaller mass. I like how it's moving. It's not quite there yet, though. I'm not. The texture's not the same. It's I want to get this same rough texture. I don't think I'm going to find it today. That's okay. It's 7:52. I'm gonna hit save here. We're gonna come back to this on Monday. We're gonna finish up this little ridge, and then we're gonna start building in temple complex and structure. See if we can make that interesting, and we'll be building that into next week. And then I guess while we're gonna get the Eberron adventure published next week. And once we do that, then I'll start working on the Artificer and character class formats for the revised Color Mana books, and start pulling that together off screen. So when we finish this piece next week, we'll then be ready for us to start dropping pages in and painting if everything goes according to plan. And if my timing is off, instead of doing interior page art, I can start doing the book cover for Spellpoint Artificer, and then we'll take it from there. So, but I'm liking where this is at. I'm liking the lighting on it. It's just, it needs different, the texture needs to improve. It's not quite matching the larger mass, so I need to fix that, and I need to remember how to fix that. So, we'll have it on Monday. And I'll be back tomorrow morning to continue, early morning. I should be on early morning to do some more game design with Marshall Powers, working out, basically going over the mechanics of all the powers that are listed in the book, and then matching them up with magic items, and then matching them up with monsters using powers as well to get that part of the book resolved. The classes look great. The powers are coming along well. I'm liking where magic items are at. I'm liking where monsters are at. We're almost done with all that stuff. So let's just keep putting these things together, and we'll just keep pushing forward, and we'll get something done. But in the meantime, thanks a lot, guys, for hanging out with me. Steve, I really appreciate you being here. Everyone else that's checked out the channel, thanks a lot. And I'll be back tomorrow morning, and I'll be back on Monday as well. Cheers.